Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Dr. Teralyn, and today I have a special guest. His name is Seth, and he is my health coach from Profile by Sanford. And I'm going to allow him to go ahead and introduce himself and his background because he is way more than a health coach. He has tons of information about healthcare and health knowledge. And we're also going to get a little bit into taking care of yourself around the coronavirus. But first, welcome, Seth.
Thank you, Dr. Sell. Appreciate it. And thank you for letting me on your podcast. It's the first time I've ever had an opportunity to do something like this, so I'm really excited to do it. So as you'd said, I am your health coach as well, too. I work at Profile by Sanford. I am a certified health and wellness coach, certified through Profile by Sanford. And you and I meet on a once-a-week basis for your overall health and nutritional standards so that you can keep improving your health so that you can keep helping other people with your profession. So we've had discussions about, health coaches need health coaches, and I'm yours.
That is right. You are mine.
Yes.
And so, because I want everyone to know, like, I get this question a lot, like, well, what do you do to take care of yourself? And what do you do? And, in our busy lifestyles and, I'm in mental health field, like, it's hard to take care of yourself. So I was real excited to become part of the Profile family because it gives me an outlet to really focus on myself. So I really like that. And Seth is who I do it with. So
yeah, and I have to tell you, it's been such an honor since we've had an opportunity to be talking with each other, just the experiences that you've gone through, the things that you've shared with me. And I truly believe that at the end of the day, we really have to be able to take care of ourselves if we're going to be able to have the capacity to take care of others. And you've taken some amazing steps over the last 6 months through our Profile Ambassador program to where you've improved your health, you've been improving your nutrition, you've been losing weight, and that's in turn improved your life, your lifestyle, so that you have the ability to keep helping the people that you're helping. So it gives me a lot of motivation myself to keep taking care of me, to be able to take care of you and the other members that I have to, look out for, because you guys at the end of the day are actually part of the motivation that keeps me going.
Thank you. Well, and I just, throughout the course of my career, I have dabbled in different ways to take care of myself. And so people say, well, do you go to a therapist? I'm like, I have, but I prefer health coaching right now. So I prefer that piece of it because I don't think there's just one thing that you should do throughout the course of your life. But I want you to clue people in. You have a little bit of a background in healthcare too. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, definitely. So I actually worked in nursing for about 5 years. I was a certified medical assistant. I graduated from Finlandia University, a small private college up in the UP. I'm originally from Michigan. I'm a Youper. So if you hear me say A or have that accent every once in a while, that's the reason why. And by the way, it's pronounced sauna, not sauna, for everybody that needs to know that. It's a sauna. That actually does help with your health as well too, but I digress. So I graduated in 2013 from Finlandia University, and I worked for the Aspirus Health Network for about 2 years in their family practice and primarily focused on phone triage nursing, where I worked for about 5 or 6 different providers in various fields. And then in 2015, I moved to the Green Bay area and worked for a men's health specialty clinic for about 2 years. And then I worked for dermatology specialist providers in the Green Bay area and surrounding areas for about 9 months. Mm-hmm. But in my travels, I've been always interested in bariatric and weight loss procedures, not necessarily the surgery aspects, but, just overall health and wellness, because it's something that I've dealt with through a good portion of my teenage years and the beginning of my adult life. And I still, not necessarily deal with it, but work with it on a daily basis with my profession and also with me personally. Mm-hmm. I used to be pretty significantly overweight myself, about 100 pounds bigger than I am right now. I was at my biggest when I was around 17, 18 years old, and it didn't really click with me until one day my dad came into our kitchen where I was eating lunch, and he said, and mind you, my dad was actually bigger than me at the time. He looked at me and said, "Seth, you're getting kind of fat." And I looked at him, I was like, "You have the audacity to tell me that I'm getting," and then I took a step back and realized he's not doing it to pick on me. He's doing it to point something out that he's concerned about. Went to my doctor and I said, "You have high risk of heart disease, stroke, diabetes, all sorts of different issues because of what you're in right now or who you are right now weight wise and what your family has genetically in your history." So it really resonated with me to start changing my life. And over the next 2 years, I lost about 100 pounds, and I got down to about 140 by the time I hit 21. And the bad part about that is that yes, I was at a healthy weight, but I was not having healthy practices. I was actually anorexic for about a year and a half.
Yeah.
And that did not bode well with me. I would weigh myself constantly. I was obsessed with food. Food was the enemy. And it was hard to break out of that trend. And then I transitioned from my major as an education major into a medical field. And then I started learning more about nutrition and health and overall health. So I started to improve my health, but my weight started to go back up again. So to fast forward about 10 years, started at Profile. I was about 195 pounds when I started here. And I learned in the first 6 months more than I learned in 10 years about health, wellness, and nutrition. And I lost 35 pounds in about 6 months. I've been maintaining that now for about a year and a half. And it's not a struggle, but it's a daily attention grabber. I have to put forth energy and time every single day, whether it's my workouts, my food prep, but I can't tell you how much I stress a healthy lifestyle when it comes to, your nutrition, your activity, your mental health, things that you help with. Mm-hmm. You need the full gamut. You need the full aspect of everything in order to be a happy, healthy person going forward with life.
And that often seems like a really overwhelming task, that we need all the parts and pieces. So I think a lot of people know what they innately need. It's just a matter of like, it feels too much or too big, or you're not in the right space, or your why isn't, exactly
Yep.
where it needs to be. I think when I started working with you, I had said something like, I want to be a part of my children's and my grandchildren's lives, because my kids are all older now, and my son is going to be playing college football, and I wanted to go there and be comfortable and all these things, and I wanted to be an active grandma, and now I'm going to be a grandma, and I'm like, wow.
Yep.
Timing is everything. What?
And congratulations on that.
Oh, again. Yeah. Yes. But you never know. We always think like things are so far in the future, and they're really not. They can be right here, right now, happening to us. So don't wait for something new to happen before you take action to get there.
Exactly. And I feel, just to kind of add on to that topic, is people think there needs to be monumental changes on a daily basis in order to see these types of changes. And we tend to reflect back on big events as to maybe why we've gained weight. Like, well, I have hard times over the holidays, and when we go on vacation, I tend to eat poorly. And those are maybe, like, I classify those as significant life events throughout the year. Holidays, birthdays, graduations, weddings, funerals, whatever they may be. They happen not that often in the course of a 365-day year. Right. But that extra handful of chips that you grab when you go past the fridge, that candy bar, that big drink that you get from, the gas station, all those different things that you do intermittently throughout the day, every single day, those are the big things that have an impact, especially when it comes to your weight. And finding ways to make small changes every single day. I had a member meet with me recently that he used to coach wrestling, and he would tell his players, his athletes, make I think it was a 0.00027% change every single day. And if you can do that for 365 days and you add that number up over 365 days, you've now made a 100% change. Now, I will say this, I'm not the greatest at math, so if I got a zero wrong in there, I apologize. But I think the point that I'm trying to make is getting across that you can make small changes over the course of a long period of time and see monumental changes.
Well, and that's what I tell people all the time, like small changes add up, but being the client is different than giving the advice, right? Like, taking it and doing something with it is super important. And you have really helped me. So Seth is really good at giving me positive feedback. So I know you try really hard to pull out any little positive morsel of anything when I'm like, yeah, it didn't go so well. And you're like, well, think about it like this. Maybe it did. I'm like, you know what? You're right. It did. And one of the biggest things that he has said to me is, when you have a family event or you have something that's important, go ahead and eat the cake, or go ahead and do the thing. Don't go in there thinking I can't do it. And you're going to make different choices around it anyway if you give yourself permission to enjoy and to enjoy the experience and to enjoy having food with your loved ones. not overindulgent, but just like, don't go in there going, I don't want to go because there's going to be cake and I can't have any, and all this stuff. It's like, I can go and I can enjoy some, and I can have good interactions with people and be around here and feel loved. It's when we start replacing love of people with food, the emotional piece of it all, which is kind of a rhetoric that we're talking about around emotional eating these days anyway. But like when you're eating something to feel love, that's completely different than when you're feeling love with people and having food with them. Food becomes a different perspective. And so I've had to keep that in mind a lot over the course of my journey here with you.
Yeah, and I'll agree with what you said there 100%. And that happens with so many of our members and so many of my members that I meet with, that they feel that when they go through these programs that they can't ever enjoy some of the things in their life. And right now, yes, you're at a point where you're in a sacrifice. You're trying to lose weight. Your emphasis is making progress on a regular basis. But except for when you're right in the beginning of our program, we usually, like for me and my coaching style, I emphasize, once you get comfortable with what you're doing and you're seeing regular progress, start sprinkling in those types of things that you like to enjoy that are going to be a part of your life once you get done. And I consistently see when people do our program and they're just regimented on it 100% and they never waver, they have a harder time transitioning back into real life once they get done. It's not to say you're never going to have a double cheeseburger ever again, or a drink, or a pizza, or something, or you're going to go out on a date, whatever it may be. Those are parts of your life that are always going to be a part of your life. Learn how to factor those in now so that you can make that transition later on, so you don't have to worry about it as much. And then you're not worried that I'm going to gain 20 pounds over a weekend. It's like, it's okay. You get your weight fluctuated a little bit over that long weekend or vacation, whatever happened. But you know what? You got back on track on Tuesday, and I bet you over the next couple of weeks, you can get yourself right back to where you were before that event happened. So it's like you said, putting things into perspective and learning how to live within a proper balance.
Right. Loosening up on yourself a little bit, because I know you talked about your experience with being anorexic. And
Yep.
I think a lot of people, myself included, who have gone through any type of like weight up and down and all around and all that, I can lose 100 pounds 62 times. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's keeping it on, but you get a little hyper vigilant in this weird focus on numbers and the scale and measurements and all of that. And I will tell you, that was one of my biggest fears when I first started, that I would be hooked to the scale. Mm-hmm. And I'll say hooked on the scale, because now scales are really intuitive. They're like down to like, 0.01, all these things. And so you can gain 0.3 of an ounce or a pound and you're freaking out, so it's really difficult, but I have been able to step back from that a little bit. And that feels relieving to me as well, that I'm not hooked to the scale. Like the scale doesn't give me my victories. Like it used to.
I've noticed that as well too, and we had those discussions early on that mm-hmm. there was that potential fixation within numbers on the scale, and that happens with so many people, not just that profile, but weight loss. Anybody that's going through weight loss is going to experience those types of things.
Yeah.
And through your journey over the last 6 months, and when you think about a 6-month time frame, looking forward, it seems like a daunting task, like you had mentioned before. Like this is going to take a lot of work and a lot of time. You look back 6 months, it's like 6 months was September of last year.
Yeah.
And that seems like a lifetime ago, right, with everything that's going on and everything that's changing. Mm-hmm. And when you can put things into perspective in the proper way, it's like, all right, you accomplished a lot in a short amount of time, to the point where you were asking me what your numbers were on the scale. What did I do? What did I do this week? How did I progress, or where did my weight go? And seeing how you were reacting to those, and seeing how you're putting them in the proper mindset of, okay, this is what I did. This is the reflection of my weight on the scale. I know where I did good. I know where I need improvement. And you're carrying that on as you continue your journey. That is creating a healthy relationship with the scale. And it's something that took me a long time to do as well too, where I do still weigh myself on a daily basis, but I'm able to look at it in the proper, construct,
mindset,
the proper mindset, and be like, all right, what did I do yesterday? Right. Well, I did this, I did that, and I did this. Okay, well, those probably two of those three things were good. That third thing may have fluctuated my weight up. There's so many different things that can cause weight fluctuations. It's amazing.
Well, water retention causes it for me,
Yep.
So I'd like to switch gears just a quick minute and
Sure.
ask you, like, if you could give someone the top three advice for a healthy life and losing some weight, what would your top three things be?
Well, the first thing I would say to do is to create a plan or create your mindset of what you want to do. What is your idealistic of your perfect self? And creating a plan or a goal to reach that. And the problem that a lot of people will run into is that they have this vision of what they want to be, and then they just kind of jump into it. I can use New Year's resolutions as the best example. A
Yes.
lot of people will look at, I want to lose weight for New Year's, which is a great thing to do. They'll jump into a gym membership and they'll start working out and they're lost. They have no idea what they're doing there, but they're not asking for help. They're not asking for advice. They're not figuring out what it is. They hang out there for a couple of weeks and then they stop because it's really hard. They didn't put a game plan in place in order to reach their success or reach their goals. So, create a plan, think about it, write things down, figure out what your goals are, what you need to do to accomplish them. The second thing I would say to do kind of ties back to what we were just talking about is be realistic and know that there are things that are going to happen in your life almost every single day. And a lot of times there are things that are completely out of our control. I believe that there's two things in our lives that we have control over on a daily basis. One of them is our food intake. We can control our food with what we put in. And yes, there may be factors weighing in like stress and tiredness, fatigue, all those types of things. But I do truly believe we have control over how we eat. And we also have control over our energy output. And if you can control those two aspects, you can see monumental changes over a short amount of time. But you also have to be realistic that there's things that are not in your control. Your car might break down. That dude that cut you off on the freeway is going to annoy you and probably stress you out. Your furnace might break and you now have $1,000 you have to bust into your house that you don't feel like spending that kind of money right now. That's going to in turn cause stress and cause you to lose sleep. And those are the types of things that will impact your life that you don't have a whole lot of control over. You just kind of have to roll with the punches and find ways to minimize your stress, improve your sleep so that you can see the success on the scale that you're looking for as well too. And the last one I would
Hold on, I wanted to say one thing. So
sure.
I wanted to say let's just use the furnace breaking down and spending $1,000 or your car breaking down and outputting more money. Those are also the things that will cause you to think, well, I should probably stop, spending money on myself because I have to fix my furnace, instead just stay the course. Your furnace will get fixed. Everything will be okay. Just keep moving forward.
Yes, that's a great catch. I'm glad that you said that because that is exactly what happens in our circumstances within Profile.
Right.
People will step away because of various commitments, and obviously sometimes we have to understand. It's like if you don't have the finances in order to do a program, whether it's us or whatever it may be, you sometimes have to step away.
Right.
But even in those circumstances, I've had members of mine that have had to step away from making purchases with us for some food products because they can't afford it. But their membership is still active and they still come see us and they still coach because they want that emphasis of continuing a healthy lifestyle.
Yep.
And they want to get back on track at some point. So I'm glad that you said that because you got to still take care of yourself.
Right. First.
Yep. And the last thing that I would say is something I know that we've talked about, and it's kind of almost like a little moral of mine or a motto is strive for perfection because perfection is unattainable. We will never be perfect. But we have this viewpoint or this view of us being perfect and where we want to be with our lives but be rational and think I might not be able to get there, but I'm going to try as hard as I possibly can to get to that person that I'm trying to be. And as long as you keep striving towards perfection, you're going to keep making progress. You're going to keep moving forward. You're going to keep seeing success. You might never reach exactly what you're trying to shoot for, but it's not going to keep you from trying.
I like that. I like that a lot. We're going to shift gears one more time.
Sure.
Right now, we have got the stress and anxiety around the coronavirus. And so everyone has been asking, like, what are some really good healthy things that I can do to help boost my immunity or boost my overall health or maintain my health during times like this. So I know you guys over there have been thinking about it, and I know I've been thinking about it in my practice too. So let's get started with that conversation just a little bit. So how do you see the coronavirus and health and immunity?
So as you had mentioned, it is a monumental thing happening within the country worldwide. It's impacting everybody's lives. It's impacting trade. It's impacting finance. It's impacting our work. You know, everybody's going through their different protocols on what they want to do to keep the doors open, to keep things moving, because the last thing that we want to see probably as a country and as a society and as the world is the world to stop. We have to do everything we possibly can to keep on going. I think the biggest things to look at with it right now are, be realistic, be smart, use common sense. Wash your hands like everyone's been saying for 20 seconds with hot water. Use hand sanitizer of 60% alcohol or higher so that you can kill off those germs and bacteria. Wipe down surfaces. If you're sick, stay home. But at the end of the day, you still have to make sure you're taking care of yourself, especially if you are a healthy individual.
Yep.
And one thing that tends to stop happening is something we had mentioned with our previous conversations, that we stop kind of taking care of ourselves because of all of the chaos that may be happening in and around us.
We shift our focus to this, like, oh my God, like, what are we going to do? I have to stop doing everything. And now my fight or flight is completely focused on this threat. And when we focus on a threat, we're not relaxed enough to be like, oh, I got to breathe and I got to eat and I got to, do all these other things, because in your fight or flight, your nervous system doesn't want to digest. It just wants to preserve and protect. So I think we get into our fight or flight brain, and now we're like, I'm not eating, I'm not whatever. I'm just looking for toilet paper.
Exactly. And good luck finding that toilet paper because it's not anywhere to be found.
Right.
I'm looking forward to meeting that person that has all the toilet paper.
Yeah, I'm going to have him on the podcast.
We'll have a beautiful toilet paper house.
Yes.
So to add even more to the whole, overall health with the coronavirus, everything that's happening with it, is we have to take care of ourselves. And stress, anxiety, these types of things have effects on our immune system. We have to find ways to keep our stress levels down. We have to find ways to keep our anxiety levels down. We have to still remain active. This is something that I've thought about. You know me, I enjoy going to the gym on a regular basis. I'm there probably 5, 6, sometimes 7 days in a row because it's my stress relief. I feel better and it helps me to manage my weight. And my thought has already gone to, what am I going to do if and when they close the gyms? Because it is a potential place that could be a festering ground for viruses like this.
Right.
And I've already put in contingencies. All right, I have a stationary bike at home. I have a medicine ball. I can go to stores and buy weights if I need to. I can go for a walk. I can modify my thinking to get away from the gym to do other aspects of activity, keep myself going to help lower those stress levels. But ultimately, at the end of the day, the best way that we take care of ourselves is through our nutrition. We need to eat properly still. We need to have high nutrient-rich foods. We need to get those vitamins in, those vitamins, minerals, those macronutrients, those carbs, those fats, those proteins, everything that we need, because 70 to 80% of our immunity lives within our intestinal tract, within our gut. And when we put poor quality food and add that on top of stress, usually lack of sleep, anxiety, things of that nature, we compromise our immune system. We put ourselves more susceptible to be infected by these viruses. And it's not just the coronavirus, it's the flu, it's a stomach bug, it's bronchitis, it's a sinus infection, it's all different types of things. And our stomach and our gut is usually our first line of defense at acknowledging that there's something in us that's wrong. We need to get everything out. We need to get those antibodies. We need to release those white blood cells. We need to get ourselves in a state of repair or prevention so that we're not getting more and more sick. The best way you can do it is through your nutrition.
Yes, I agree. And I actually think this what's happening right now is not really about the coronavirus at all. I think this is a wake-up call for people across the globe, but especially in America, to focus on yourself. We finally have the chance to do this. And when we finally wake up and say, I can't be afraid of what's going on, what I can do is improve my own health, wellness, reduce my stress levels to improve my own immunity and take care of my family. And I think that's the wake up call with the coronavirus rather than, run for your life, or whatever. I think it's just a wake up call, and everyone's thinking like, what can I do to improve my life and my situation so I don't get sick? I think that's where we're moving now, is what do I need to do to not get sick? Because the hand sanitizer is running out. The toilet paper is running out. But guess what?
I have mine still. I'm making sure nobody steals it.
I'm going to make my own because it ran out, But the one thing that's not running out is our food.
Yep. And there's so many different types of foods out there that you can choose from, and then so many different places as well too. It can go from anywhere from Whole Foods to Trader Joe's to Aldi to Walmart. You don't have to fixate on the toilet paper and the hand sanitizer. Go get yourself some good fruits and vegetables. I know there's potentially this doomsday that people are stocking up on frozen pizzas and canned foods and processed foods. And stay away from that stuff. We're still operating at full capacity as a country. Yep. We have these stores stocked. We have the food that we need. Stock up properly. Get the food that you need that's going to boost your immunity, that's going to make you feel better. And guess what? When your immunity is good and you're fighting off these illnesses, you're preventing from carrying it on to the next person.
Right.
And by you not getting sick, you're not getting that next person sick. And you know what? It might not be the next person or the 10th person after you that gets sick, but that 11th person might have a compromised immune system, or might be a grandparent that that they are at high risk for certain illnesses such as this one that's coming out. And we have to, being able to think about ourselves and take care of ourselves takes care of your neighbor, takes care of the person next to you.
So do your part to take care of yourself.
Yes.
Outside of hand sanitizer too.
Yes. So. Outside of hand sanitizer. You don't need 30 rolls of toilet paper. Let the other person buy a roll so that they can do their business.
Yes, literally and figuratively.
Yes.
All right. So wonderful conversation. And thank you for all the extra information around the coronavirus. That is solid information. It is a wake-up call right now to take care of our own health and wellness so that we can help others and our whole community can be safe. And if I run out of toilet paper, I'm sure hoping that somebody throws a roll on my lawn if I need it,
You can call on me if need be. Right. I'll tap into the stores at Profile and give you one if need be, okay?
Thank you so much. My family appreciates it.
I'm sure they do.
All right. Thank you for joining us, Seth, and thank you for tuning in, and I look forward to talking to everyone very soon.